Subway, the Corner Pantry, and the Argyle Food Market are locally owned by Mr. Nick Patel, who thanks the Clinch County Homerville communities for all their support. Subway, located on West Dame Avenue in Homerville, is the go-to place for nutritious, healthy food. We have catering platters to meet all your tailgating needs. Don't forget to drop by the Corner Pantry in Homerville and the Argyle Food Market in Argyle and pick up all the items you need at the best discount prices in Clinch County. Nick says, go Panthers!
Camping World of Valdosta, located in Lake Park, is your one-stop destination for all your camping needs. Stop by to see your dreams of quality time with your family become a reality. Whether it's tailgating with your air-conditioned camper, taking a trip to the mountains or beach with your family, or driving your motorhome to a faraway destination, Camping World has it all. Let us put you and your family in a camper for as little as $99 per month. And remember, when you buy a camper from Camping World of Valdosta, you receive a free Elite Good Sam membership, roadside assistance, and travel assist for 1 year.
Dairy Queen is a proud part of our local communities and is cheering our sports teams on to championship seasons. Drop by before and after the game to say hello to Mr. Ash and his entire crew and enjoy the full Dairy Queen menu, including our famous grilled burgers, artisan-style sandwiches, and chicken strips. Cool off with our renowned smoothies, slushies, malts, and iced coffees. Try our fabulous desserts and take an ice cream cake home for that special occasion, or just to treat the family. Dine in or take out at Dairy Queen locations in Homerville, Blackshear, Folkestone, and Fernandina Beach. See you at the DQ.
Hello and welcome. We're so glad you could join us today on the country table. We're going to be preparing 3 different dishes today, 2 side dishes, and of course a dessert. You can't have a country table without a dessert, it seems. The first dish we'll be looking at is a marinated vegetable salad. It's really colorful. It's a great accompaniment to ham or almost anything. You could even consider using it for holiday meals because it is so colorful. And it takes away a little of the heaviness that we tend to have in side dishes during holiday meals. The second dish we'll take a look at today is macaroni and cheese. That's an old-time favorite, and I'm sure everyone knows how to make it. But I just sort of wanted a reminder that there is an option on busy days other than the blue box that says Kraft. Maybe you might use that as a shortcut and as a convenience, but it's good to remember how to do the original. And our dessert for today will be chocolate chess pie. We've done a chess pie before, but this one is chocolate and plenty rich and plenty chocolatey. So let's get started and get those dishes together.
Carter's Fried Chicken in Homerville has become the gold standard for fried chicken barbecue and catering. Carter's also offers a full menu of other tasty items and is open on Sunday. Thanks, Chad Brown, for making dining at Carter's a family tradition in Homerville. Go Panthers! Lee Engineering and Construction Company in DuPont, Georgia has been a part of the community since 1935 and is proud to support Clinch County athletics. The prayer of the entire Lee Engineering family is that our Lord and Savior will richly bless our schools, community, and nation. Huddle up! That's right, huddle up at the Huddle House in Homerville and Lakeland before or after the game. And if you can't make it to the game, watch all the live action here at the Huddle House. Remember, Huddle Houses of Homerville and Lakeland have a full menu with something for everyone, with prices that can't be beat. Whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 24 hours per day, Huddle House is a game-winning recipe for the entire family. Go Clinch County Panthers!
Go Linear County Bulldogs, and don't forget, huddle up at the Huddle House.
I've put everything together for our marinated vegetable salad. The peas are LeSueur peas. It's a 16-ounce can, 16-ounce can of French green beans. They're just a little more attractive for what you're trying to do here. They're drained, and we're going to pop those into the bowl. I also have a 2-ounce can of pimento diced, and we're adding that to the mix. This is just for color. If you're not a big fan of pimento, don't let this worry you, because you really don't taste it once the dish is together. You can certainly omit it because you've also got red here in a red bell pepper. You can use green if you prefer that, but the idea was just to add a little more color. This is a seeded green or red pepper and cut into the thinnest strips that you can get, maybe somewhere between a 1/4 of an inch long and just as thin as you can cut it. Most people don't like to bite into a large chunk of one of those. You also need some thinly sliced onion. You might prefer to do a small onion so that when you serve, you've got the attractive full ring, but it's not such a huge bite of onion. So this was a larger onion. I cut it in half and sliced it very thinly, but you can certainly use small onions so that you maintain that ring shape. Okay, now we're going to assemble the ingredients for the marinade that will go over the vegetables and more or less cook them. This is a great dish to do ahead. You could do this even a couple of days ahead of particularly a holiday meal. It is more or less cooked. The onions are tenderized by the hot marinade. Once you pour this boiling marinade over the vegetables, just let it cool enough to put into the fridge, cover it with saran or put it into a covered plastic container, stick it in the fridge and forget about it until it's ready to serve. So it is a great do-ahead dish. I think you'll like that aspect of it. Into a saucepan for our marinade, we're going to put a 1/2 cup of oil, a cup of sugar, can't do without sugar, a cup of red wine vinegar. That's what's going to give this sort of an extra punch of flavor, and just a teaspoon of salt. Blend that as well as you can. Bring it to a boil. It helps if you turn on the correct burner. Bring that to a boil. Of course, it's going to take us a few minutes to get to that point. We won't make you wait for that. But make sure your sugar is well dissolved as quickly as you can, and just wait for this marinade to come to a boil. I'll see you in a minute. Our marinade has come to a boil. We're going to flip the burner off, and all you do is pour this over your vegetables that are already in the bowl. This is a heat-resistant bowl. This bowl's made of porcelain. You'd certainly want a Pyrex bowl or something that's going to tolerate heat. You wouldn't want to use your grandmother's depression glass because it would probably break it, since that's such a hot liquid being poured over the vegetables. Just make sure everything is combined and make sure your vegetables are covered as much as possible with the marinade. And then again, all you have to do is cover it over with saran or foil, or put it in a Tupperware type plastic covered container, stick it in the fridge. It is one of those dishes that's much better the next day. I have made it and served it in the same day, but the onion needs some time to sit in that marinade, for lack of a better word, and to cook, for lack of a better word, so that the onion is more tender. The onion may look a little prominent to you right now, but as the marinade works its magic and the heat affects the onions, they tend to shrink a little and look more transparent, translucent, and so they won't be quite so dominant appearing in the dish. As you can see, it's really colorful and it's very, very tasty. That combination of the red wine vinegar and sugar is just a really nice complement to grilled meats, smoked hams, just about anything that you'd be serving as your entree. This would go with it well. And I think you'll agree it's pretty easy to put together.
Jerry J's is the best Boston butts and ribs around. Meat so tender and tasty that it practically melts in your mouth. We have a variety of home-cooked meals and the best breakfast in town. And don't forget about our barbecue sandwiches. Jerry J's can cater your event and looks forward to serving you in Homerville, Waycross, and Douglas. Oh yeah, if you can't make it to the game, drop by Jerry J's in Homerville to watch the game live on CreekboxTV while you enjoy one of the many items on our menu. Go Panthers! At Burt CPAs, helping small businesses with their accounting needs is our business. We have offices in Homerville, Waycross, Alma, and Baxley. Burt's professionals are ready to serve you no matter your location. We are your team for accounting, bookkeeping, tax, and financial advice. In Homerville, call firm partner Adam Toll, 912-490-7142. Since 1972, Popeyes has been serving up mouth-watering, delicious, hot, and mild fried chicken and chicken tenders from its Louisiana kitchen. You know about our great chicken, but have you tried our tasty seafood? All of our menu items come with a southern style all their own. On your way to or after the game, stop by Popeyes and remember we can handle all your special event catering needs. Conveniently located on Memorial Drive in Waycross, Popeyes puts a piece of Louisiana in every single meal.
Let's get our macaroni and cheese started. We have some water boiling here. I'm going to go ahead and drop the elbow macaroni into it and start it on about 8 minutes. Just let that boil while you put together your white sauce, which we're going to do in this saucepan. I think we'll turn that heat up just a bit. The white sauce starts with melted butter. Let's get a little heat going under it. You're going to add maybe a teaspoon of salt and a good bit of pepper, whatever is to your liking, no set amount. We have almost a quarter cup of flour. I just happen to use self-rising in this. It doesn't matter, you can certainly use plain. I don't think that it would matter one way or the other. Blend that really well with the butter as the butter begins to heat. I already had it melted just to save time, but you can certainly take the time to do that in your saucepan. Once this flour and butter get blended really well and really hot, you're going to add in 2 cups of milk. Add it pretty slowly and continue to stir really well so it doesn't get lumpy. You can pour it in stages, of course, and preferably not spill it the way I just did. I'd turn the heat down to about a medium level at that point. You don't want it to get too hot and you don't want it to boil. Go ahead and pour in the rest of your milk slowly and try to blend. I think I'm going to switch over to a whisk because that's going to do a better job of blending the flour and getting rid of any lumps in the flour as we blend it with the milk. There we go. I think, yeah, that's doing a lot better than the spatula did. Go ahead and finish pouring in your milk. Once you're sure you've gotten rid of the lumps and that things are blended pretty well. And once you get rid of the lumps, you can switch back to a spatula so you don't scratch your pan. I should have one of those nice silicone whisks, but I don't. You're just going to heat this sauce on medium to medium-high heat until it begins to thicken, and you'll recognize really easily when it gets thick enough. Right now it still just looks like regular milk. I'd go ahead and keep stirring the entire time so that you don't scorch your milk. I think we can turn the heat back down a little on our elbow macaroni. Normally that takes 8 or 9 minutes. You may prefer it less done or more done, but just boil the macaroni somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 or 9 minutes until it's the tenderness that you like. Rather than make you wait for this sauce to get hot enough, I think we'll take another break. See you in a moment.
Homerville Feed and Seed can provide nearly all of your farming-related needs, including seed, corn, bulk fertilizer, herbicides, insecticides, and a large variety of other farm products. Evalie and Nick want to remind you that you do not have to shop out of town to find the lowest prices. Our prices are as low or lower than any of those out-of-town companies. Come by and let the friendly staff at Homerville Feed and Seed help you select the farm products you need at the lowest prices around. Lutz, Brown, Piegler, and Manley Insurance Agency is locally owned and has been a part of the Homerville, Clinch County community for many years. Jeff Brown and Eric Lutz make it a priority to know their clients on a personal basis and take pride in customizing insurance coverage for the particular needs of each customer. They offer all lines of insurance, including auto, home, business, life insurance, annuities, and bonds. Lutz, Brown, Piegler, and Manley Insurance Agency, East Dame Avenue, Homerville. Go Panthers!
Our sauce is good and thick. I think you can see that it's more the consistency now of a custard instead of being more just like plain milk. So we're going to take it off the heat. Our macaroni was ready a couple of minutes ago. We drained that briefly in the sink, and I've added it to a greased casserole dish. We're going to take 8 ounces of cheese that I've cut into cubes. I don't know that it's possible to have mac and cheese with too much cheese in it, so I'm generally pretty generous with it. Just go ahead and try to distribute the cheese throughout the macaroni. And once you do that, oh, we missed a couple. Once you do that, grab that thickened sauce and pour it over the macaroni and the cheese. It's all super hot, so be careful not to touch anything. If you think maybe that you got a little too much macaroni in proportion to your sauce, that's easy to fix. You can always add just a bit more milk. Because remember, even though it may appear fairly liquid now, as it cooks, and it only takes about 28 minutes to cook in a 350-degree oven, but as it cooks, that milk is going to get even more thickened as it penetrates the macaroni and everything gets blended together. This is about the right amount of liquid quality, I think. I think it's going to cook fine. And we're just continuing to blend it, making sure that the cheese is distributed as evenly throughout as we can make it. There we go. And as I said, I don't think you can have too much cheese in mac and cheese, so we're going to put some grated cheese across the top. No shortage of calories here. And once you get the cheese on the top, all you have to do is put it in a 350-degree oven, about 28 to 30 minutes, depending on how long it takes for it to solidify. And if you like a little browning around the edges, that's fine as well. So let's get this in the oven. Okay, I'll see you in a few minutes. It looks like our mac and cheese is ready. Let's get over and get it out of the oven and see what we have here. Okay. You can see the cheese is melted, the milk is solidified. You have a hot, really tasty dish, I think, here that your family's going to enjoy. and I think you'll find that it's worth the extra steps that you took, maybe beyond the instant variety. I hope you enjoy.
Subway, the Corner Pantry, and the Argyle Food Market are locally owned by Mr. Nick Patel, who thanks the Clinch County Homerville communities for all their support. Subway, located on West Dame Avenue in Homerville, is the go-to place for nutritious, healthy food. We have catering platters to meet all your tailgating needs. Don't forget to drop by the Corner Pantry in Homerville and the Argyle Food Market in Argyle and pick up all the items you need at the best discount prices in Clinch County. Nick says, go Panthers!
Camping World of Valdosta, located in Lake Park, is your one-stop destination for all your camping needs. Stop by to see your dreams of quality time with your family become a reality. Whether it's tailgating with your air-conditioned camper, taking a trip to the mountains or beach with your family, or driving your motorhome to a faraway destination, Camping World has it all. Let us put you and your family in a camper for as little as $99 per month. And remember, when you buy a camper from Camping World of Valdosta, you receive a free Elite Good Sam membership, roadside assistance, and travel assist for 1 year.
Let's work on our chocolate chess pie now. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Pillsbury refrigerated crusts because you can make it prettier for one thing and use a nice pie dish, but also, I can't find a homemade recipe for pie crust that I think tastes as good as the Pillsbury refrigerated crust. So for lots of reasons, that's just what I prefer to use when I'm making pies. I've already put the pie crust in the pan and fitted it and pushed against the side so that there's no air between the crust and the side of the pan. I've already turned under the extra margin of the crust here, and we're going to scallop it in just a moment, or flute it, I'm not sure which it is. But I wanted to show you what I'm doing here. I'm just turning this surplus under, and I turn it under from the outside because if you'd rolled it inward, you'd wind up with kind of a raw seam that showed there. So it's a prettier crust if you roll the excess under from the outside. And once we get this rolled, it's really simple to go around and make this pretty edge. Of course, pressing a fork all the way around is certainly an option. That's what I grew up with and remember from my childhood. But this is an option as well. After you get this surplus rolled and you have a little bit of it standing higher than the pie pan, take the handle of a wooden spoon. You can also use just your finger. But you're going to press outward on the crust with your finger and at an angle on the diagonal, press downward with the wooden spoon. And you just go around, skip enough space so that you have room for the next flute or scallop, whatever you want to call this, and just go all the way around the dish with a diagonal finger and a diagonal wooden spoon handle pressed against one another with the crust in the middle. And it just makes this really pretty standing edge for you. There, and we ended up almost at the right place. So our crust is done. Let's move over and get our pie filling ready. We start with 2 eggs. And I think we're going to skip the electric mixer today and just use a whisk for the noise factor. We need to beat those eggs really well. before we start, and then we're going to add sugar to our beaten eggs. And this is 1.5 cups of sugar, a pinch of salt, and we're going to be using a melted stick of butter, either very, very soft or melted. I think melted is easier to work with. And 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa powder. You're going to want to add the cocoa to the butter first so that it can combine with the butter. It's much easier to get it to blend and combine well with the butter than if you add it to the other ingredients that are already in the bowl. So work with getting that blended in well as you can before you add it to the mixture that's already in your bowl. Because the butter's nice and warm, usually the cocoa powder will just go right ahead and mix in fairly easily without a lot of lumps. Maybe take your spatula back and forth like that and get the rest of the lumps out. I think we're good. We're going to go ahead and add that in to the sugar and the eggs and the salt. Okay, we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla to add, and we have 5 ounces of evaporated milk. That's a small evaporated milk can. And that's all that goes into our pie. We're just going to blend that really well. Try not to splash it all over ourselves. This makes a really rich, very chocolatey pie. And if you remember our regular chess pie, you may remember that there's almost a crust-like effect on the top. And this pie will have a similar topping as well to it, but the center, once you get below that top, it's just very creamy and very chocolatey. I think you'll enjoy it. I still have some lumps of cocoa that I didn't get blended in properly, so I'm hoping that that's going to work itself out as the pie bakes. I might try to explode a few of them, crush those so that it's blended better before we put it into the pie crust. Okay, and all we have left to do is to put this filling into our crust that's all ready. Okay, this pie is ready to put into a 350-degree oven, and it's going to bake for about 45 minutes. Just until you know that it's set. You can jiggle the pie and know for certain that it has cooked all the way, and you've got that nice topping across the top of the pie. We'll put this in the oven and see you in a few minutes. Our pie is out of the oven and baked and smelling really fudgy chocolatey. It's sort of making me hungry. I apologize that part of the crust sunk down into the pie, but I don't think it'll make it any less edible. I hope you'll try this recipe as well as the others we looked at in this episode, and I hope you'll find that the little bit of extra effort is worth the mac and cheese you get in return, and that you'll find the marinated vegetables useful. I hope you'll join us on the next country table to see what we're cooking up that day.